Hello everyone, myself Misha Shatabdi. Today in this video, I am going to discuss with you about shortest job first algorithm. Among the different type of scheduling algorithms from the chapter of Unit 4, that is scheduling, I will discuss here the algorithm shortest job first, that is SJF algorithm. Let us understand a real scenario. Suppose in a burger shop, four customers have ordered their burgers. The customer A have ordered one burger, customer B six burgers, customer C four burgers, and customer D three burgers. The happy burger seller is thinking that, wow, there are many orders. But she is thinking, how will she manage the order by time because in her shop she is alone. So she thinks that she will manage the order by arranging on the shortest time taking order. So as the shortest number of order is one burger, so it may take lesser time. And that's why she will serve the customer A first. Then she will serve the customer D because he have ordered 3 burgers. After that, he will serve the customer C because he has ordered 4 burgers. And the last one, that is the customer B, has ordered 6 burgers. So she will serve her at last. It can be an example of the shortest job first algorithm. Now we will know what is this shortest job first. Shortest job first is a preemptive or non-preemptive algorithm. In the shortest job first algorithm, the job having shortest or less burst time will get the CPU first. It is the best approach to minimize the waiting time. It is simple to implement in the batch operating system because in the CPU time is known in advance. But it is not used in interactive systems because in interactive systems CPU time is not known. Now the algorithm is like that. Sort all the process according to the arrival time. Then select the process which has minimum arrival time and minimum burst time. After completion of process, make a pool of process which after till the completion of previous process and select that process among the pool which is having minimum burst time. Shortest of first scheduling works on the process with the shortest burst time or duration first. This is the best approach to minimize waiting time. This is used in batch system. It is of two types, that is non-preemptive and preemptive. To successfully implement it, the burst time or duration time of the processes should be known to the processor in advance, which is practically not feasible all the time. This scheduling algorithm is optimal if all the jobs or processes are available at the same time. Either arrival time is 0 for all or arrival time is same for all. Now we will know what is non-preemptive SJF. In non-preemptive scheduling, once the CPU cycle is allocated to process, the process holds it till it reaches a waiting state or terminated. Now we will discuss an example of this non-preemptive SJF. Consider the following four processes like P1, P2, P3 and P4 available in the ready queue, each having its own unique burst time and arrival time as 0. We have to calculate the average waiting time. So, here the shortest process will be executed first. Now to solve this problem, we have to prepare a Gantt chart. So as per the data in the table, the shortest burst time is for P4, that is the process P4. So at first we will execute the process P4 at the arrival time 0. After the process P4, the process P2 is having the lesser burst time, that is 3. So after that the process P2 will be here and the completion time will be 5 because 2 plus 3 equal to 5. After the two process, that is P4 and P2, the lesser burst time is of the process P3. So the Gantt chart shows that the completion time of the process P3 is 11 because 5 plus 6, the 6 is the burst time of P3. So 5 plus 6 equal to 11. And the last process is holding the burst time 21 and the process is P1. So the last completion time of the process P1 is 11 plus 21 equal to 32. So you can see that in the Gantt chart above, the process P4 will be picked up first as it has the shortest burst time, then P2 followed by P3 and last the P1. From the Gantt chart, we have the waiting time for process P1 is 11 and the waiting time for the process P2 is 2. For the process P3, the waiting time is 5 and the waiting time for the process P4 is 0. So the average waiting time equal to 11 plus 2 plus 5 plus 21 whole divided by the number of process, that is 4, equal to 39 by 4 equal to 4.5. So for this problem, the average waiting time comes out 4.5 millisecond. Now, here is another example. Consider the following four processes, that is P1, P2, P3 and P4 available in the ready queue, each having its own unique burst time, that is for P1 the burst time is 3, for P2 the burst time is 4, for P3 the burst time is 2, for P4 the burst time is 4. And arrival time. For arrival time, P1 is 2, for P2 the arrival time is 2, for P3 it is 1 and for P4 it is 4. We have to calculate the average waiting time. So for this problem, first we have to prepare a Gantt chart. As you can see in this process list, no process is started or arrived at the time 0. So 0 to 1 should be idle. Now from the process list, we can see that P1 and P3 both processes are arrived at the time 1. So now we have to check the criteria burst time. The burst time of P1 is 3 and burst time for P3 is 2. So the shortest among these two is P3. That's why the process P3 will be selected here and As it is the non-preemptive method, so the full burst time, that is 2, will be covered here. So that is 1 plus 2 equal to 3. Now we have to check which processes are arrived at the time 3. P1 is already arrived at 1, and after checking the rest process we can see that P2 is arrived at the time 2. So P1 and P2 are already in the ready queue. Again we have to check the burst time. As burst time of P1 is short, so P1 will be executed here and will remain for 3 milliseconds. So completion time of P1 will be 3 plus 3 equal to 6. Now at the time 6, we have to check which processes are arrived. So P2 and P4 are already arrived in the ready queue. Again, we have to check the burst time here. So both the processes P2 and P4's burst time is same here. Now we have to check the arrival time of those. As the arrival time of P2 among those is short, so P2 will be executed here. As the burst time of P2 is 4, so completion time of P2 is 6 plus 4 equal to 10. And the rest process is P4, so it will be executed at the last. And the burst time of P4 is 4, so 10 plus 4 equal to 14 will be the completion time of the process P4. So from the Gantt chart, we have got the completion time for P1 is 6, for P2 the completion time is 10, and for P3 the completion time is 3, and for P4 the completion time is 14. For turnaround time, the formula is completion time subtracted by arrival time. So the turnaround time for the process P1 will be 6 minus 1, that is the completion time of P1 subtraction with the arrival time of P1 equal to 6 minus 1 equal to 5. And the turnaround time for the process P2 is 10 minus 2 equal to 8. The turnaround time for the process P3 is 3 minus 1 equal to 2. And the turnaround time for the process P4 is 14 minus 4 equal to 10. The formula for getting the waiting time is turnaround time subtracted with burst time. So the waiting time for the process P1 is 2, that is 5 minus the burst time 3 equal to 2, and the waiting time for the process P2 is 8 minus 4 equal to 4. The waiting time for the process P3 is 2 minus 2 equal to 0, and for the waiting time for the process P4 is 10 minus 4 equal to 6. So the average turnaround time equal to 5 plus 18 plus 12 plus 10 whole divided by 4 equal to 45 by 4 equal to 11.25. So the average time turnaround time is 11.25 millisecond. And the average waiting time equal to 2 plus 4 plus 0 plus 6 whole divided by 4 equal to 12 divided by 4 equal to 3. So the average waiting time for this problem is 3 millisecond. Now we will discuss about preemptive shortage job first. In preemptive shortage job first scheduling, jobs are put into ready queue as they arrive. But as a process with short burst time arrives, the existing process is preempted or removed from execution, and the shortest or shorter job is executed first. Now we will discuss about an example. Consider the following 5 processes, that is P1, P2, P3, P4 and P5 available in the ready queue, each having its own unique burst time. Like burst time for P1 is 1, for P2 it is 5, for P3 it is 1, for P4 it is 6 and for P5 it is 3. And also the arrival time. For arrival time, for P1 it is 2, for P2 it is 1, for P3 it is 4, for P4 it is 0 and for P5 it is 2. We have to calculate the average waiting time. To solve this problem, first we have to create a Gantt chart. So first we have to check which process is arrived at the time 0. We can see here P4 is arrived at 0 and it is only in ready queue. Now for preemptive SJF we have to check it after every unit of time. So P4 will execute up to 0 plus 1, that is the time 1, and the remaining time for P4 will be 5. Now at the time 1, after checking that which process is ready queue or has arrived, we got P2 is arrived at 1 and the burst time remaining for both the process P2 and the running process P4 is same, that is 5. So we have to consider the FCFS process here. So again we have to execute P4 as because it was already in the ready queue at first and execute it up to 1 unit again. Again after 1 unit of P4, that is at the time 2, we have to check for the arrived process at time 2 again. So we get P1, P5, P2 and P4 are already in the ready queue and the remaining time for P4 is 4. So we have to check which one is shortest time. So here is the shortest time P1, that is 1. Then P1 will be executed. So P1 is completed here by the whole burst time of its, that is 1. After that, among P2, P4 and P5, which one is shortest? Yes, P5 is shortest. So P5 will be picked here and will be executed for 1 unit of time. So executing time will be 3 plus 1, that is 4. Now at the time 4, the process P3 also arrived and the remaining time for P5 is 2. So among P2, P4, P5 and P3, which one is the shortest burst time? Yes, it's P3. So P3 will be executed here and also P3 will be completed its burst time because it will be executed for the unit 1 and the burst time for the process P3 is given 1 here. Now all the remaining processes, that is P4, P2, P5 are already in the ready queue. So now we can apply the normal SJF method, that is shortest job first method. Among these processes, P5 is having the shortest burst time. So P5 will be executed and it will be executed for its 2 unit, that is a rest 2 unit of burst time and will complete all of its burst time. Now in the remaining processes P4 and P2, the shortest is P4. So it will be executed for its burst time 4 and will be completed all the burst time that is given to him. And the completion time of the P4, the process P4 is 7 plus 4 equal to 11. And the remaining process is P2. So it will be executed now and will complete its burst time 5. So the completion time of the process P2 will be 11 plus 5 equal to 16. Now from the Gantt chart we got the completion time of the every processes, that is for the completion time of P1 is 3, the completion time of P2 process P2 is 16, the completion time of process P3 is 5, and for P4 it is 11, and for the process P5 it is 7. From the formula, that is turnaround time equal to completion time subtracted with arrival time, we got the turnaround time for P1 is 3 minus 2 equal to 1. The turnaround time for P2 is 16 minus 1 equal to 15. For P3 it is 5 minus 4 equal to 1. For the process P4 it is 11 minus 0 equal to 11. And for the process P5 the turnaround time will be 7 minus 2 equal to 5. And the formula for waiting time equal to turnaround time minus burst time. So the turnaround time for process P1 is 1 minus 1 equal to 0. For process P2 it is 15 minus 5 equal to 10. For process P3 it is 1 minus 1 equal to 0. For the process P4 it is 11 minus 5 equal to 11 minus 6 equal to 5, and for the process P5 it is 5 minus 3 equal to 2. Now for the response time, the formula should be first time response minus arrival time. For the process P1, the response time should be 2 minus 2 equal to 0. For the process P2, the response time should be 11 minus 1 equal to 0. For the process P3, the response time will be 4 minus 4 equal to 0. For the process P4, it will be 0 minus 0 equal to 0. And for process P5, it will be 3 minus 2 equal to 1. So the average turnaround time will be 1 plus 15 plus 1 plus 11 plus 5 whole divided by 5 equal to 33 by 5 equal to 6.6. So average turnaround time will be 6.6 millisecond. And the average waiting time will be 0 plus 10 plus 0 plus 5 plus 2 whole divided by 5 equal to 17 divided by 5 equal to 3.4. So the average waiting time will be 3.4 millisecond. Now this SJ problem also have some advantages and disadvantages. What are the advantages of this SJF algorithm? It has maximum throughput and minimum average waiting and turnaround time. And what are the disadvantages of SJF algorithm? It may suffer with the problem of starvation. It is not implementable because the exact burst time for a process can't be known in advance. There are different techniques available by which the CPU burst time of the process can be determined. We will discuss them later in detail. Hope through this video I can make you understand about the SJ problem or the shortest job first algorithm. Thank you for watching this video and don't forget to subscribe my channel.